Hello peeps, it's the Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you today? And today we're going to do a video about how much the NHS costs every person in the UK. And this just started off as an idea I was thinking about before, and I thought I'll come in and just have a look and look it up on ChatGPT. Of course, this is going to be a little bit out, a billion here and there, or a few million here and there, but in the scheme of things, it's a good idea of what happens, because we hear a lot about how the NHS is going to be privatised and how you'll have to pay your own personal pension or whatever. And it's just interesting, the result I came to at the end. So please comment, rate and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out. And let's get going. So I asked it, how much does the NHS cost the UK as a whole per year? So it's gone in details. I can't read everything out here. But in 23-24, it's 188.5 billion in the UK. NHS England received 171 billion. That's from the King's Fund, where that's come from. 2024, Wales has a budget of 11.74 billion, which accounts for 49% of the Welsh Government's total budget. It's a big budget. In Scotland, it's 7.3 billion. So compiling these figures, the total NHS budget across the UK for 24-25 is approximately 209.5 billion. It's massive, absolutely massive. Despite this funding, the NHS is facing challenges and projected to have a 6.6 billion deficit. So it's going to be losing money. So then I go, so how much does that cost every taxpayer in the UK per person? Based on the estimate total NHS budget of 209 billion for the financial year of UK population of approximately 68 million, the cost per person is 3,081. It's important to note the figure represents an average across the entire population, including children and individuals who do not pay taxes. So then I go, well, that's no good, is it really? Could you remove the children and those not paying tax and give a total of people left? So based on the estimate, the total NHS budget of 209.5 billion for the 2024-25 fiscal year, and approximately 32 million income taxpayers in the UK, the cost per taxpayer is about £6,546.88 each. So only half the population is actually paying tax. So there's only 32 million there. So then my missus says then, is that including council tax? So remember here, that's £6,546.88. So then I ask, is that including council tax? No, council tax does not fund the NHS. It's funded through general taxation. So council tax is projected to raise approximately 47.6 billion, accounting for about 4.1% of total tax receipts. So, therefore, the previously calculated per taxpayer cost of the NHS, approximately £6,546.88, is based on funding from general taxation and national insurance contributions. So I go then, add on council tax to the total and divide by the same criteria. Here's a breakdown, including council tax. NHS cost 24-25, 209.5 billion. Council tax revenue, 47.6 billion. Total combined public cost, 257.1 billion. UK income taxpayer count, 32 million. Cost per taxpayer, £8,034.38 per taxpayer. That's mad, isn't it? It is absolutely mad. So I'm there talking to the missus and I'm going, well, we're saying that seems a bit high for lower earners. So then I go, that must be from higher earning people, surely, because how can a person pay 8,000 each? You're correct in observing that higher earners contribute disproportionately larger share of the UK tax revenues, which fund services like the NHS and local government operations. income tax contributions. The UK's income tax system is progressive, meaning that tax rates increase with income. In 24-25 fiscal year, the top 10% of income taxpayers earning over approximately 69,600 annually contributed to 60.2% of all income tax revenue. So they're the ones that are getting hammered, to be fair. 60% of all income tax. The top 1%, with incomes exceeding 160,000, account for 28.2% of income tax. So that, that's this indicates that a relatively small segment of higher earners is responsible for a significant portion of income tax collections. So, council tax contribution. Council tax, unlike income tax, is considered regressive because it's based on property values rather than income. This means lower income households often pay a higher proportion of their income in council tax compared to wealthier households. In 2021, the poorest fifth of the UK households spent 4.8% of their income on council tax. Well, yeah, I tell you here, it's a lot of money. The richest fifth spent 1.5% of their income on the same tax. But when you see up there how much they're actually paying in normal tax, I think that levels it out. When considering both income tax and council tax, higher earners contribute the majority of income tax revenue, significantly supporting national services like the NHS. Lower income households, while contributing less in absolute terms, allocate a larger share of their income to council tax, impacting their disposable income more severely. Well, it is, like I tell you here, it's what is it, $2,500, did I say? I think it's about 2,500 mine is. And that's a big, huge lump of our income. So, asked it to put it into a table then. And you can see when Labour and lots of these people are talking about getting rid of the richer people in society, it's going to hurt the lower in society. So, here is a breakdown of the different groups in the UK, of how different groups in the UK contribute to income tax and how much of their income goes towards council tax. So there we are. Look, council tax share of income, the top ones, 4.8% of their income. Second, 3.5% of their income. Middle, 2.7%. Fourth, 2.1%. Highest, 1.5%. Top, 0.8%. Top 1%, 0.8%. So you can't see a lot on that, so I changed that then. So I said, can you break that down into money that those sections pay out in total bill for the UK? NHS bill. Total NHS budget then, 209.5 billion. Top 1% of earners contribute 28.2% of income tax revenue to the NHS. Top 10% contribute 60% of income for the revenue. So applying these percentages to the NHS budget gives an estimated contribution of 59.8 billion for the top 1%, and the top 10%, 126.12 billion. Now, it's a job to see this properly, so I said then, can you put it into a showing the money also? It didn't do it on that one, so I did it on this one. So here it is. So income, the highest 20%, they pay 60% of the NHS budget, 126,119,000. The second, top 1%, pay 28.2%, so 59,079,000. 79 million. Fourth is, so they're not the top highest. Fourth, they pay 20%, which is 24.3% of the NHS budget, 50,908,500,000. Middle pay 10%, so there is 20,950,000,000. Second is 4.5% of the budget, which is 9,427,000,000.5. And the lower section of society pay 0.5, which is 1,047,000,000. Now, looking at that, if you start getting rid of, which is happening in the UK now, the higher earners in the UK, there's going to be nobody to pay the NHS bill. And that's quite shocked me. I didn't realise that until I looked at this today. So that's quite an eye-opener, isn't it, really? When you think everybody's having a go at the higher earners and the business owners in the UK, when in fact they're paying, let's go again, 60%. The highest earners in the UK are paying 60% of the NHS budget. And the next lot down are paying 28%. So if them people aren't in the UK, NHS goes skint, I'm afraid. So just an interesting video from just interesting about the money-wise, from no political side really, but just a worry. If you get rid of the richer people in society, your actual services go. So please subscribe. All the best, guys.